Hello, Sydney.
No. Hey, welcome back to Speaking Scary. I'm Olivia.
And I'm Kaylee, and today we are ranking the Scream killers based off execution, intelligence, and motive.
For our system, 6 is the worst on our list, and 1 is the best on our list. First off, we have the first movie's killers, which are Billy Loomis and Stu Macher. Where would you place them on this list?
I would honestly put Billy at about 5 because he was very obvious at times. Like, he didn't plan out where he would go after killing. And
exactly.
The phone call scene, he was so obvious. Like, honestly, I don't know how Sydney didn't kill him right there.
Exactly, and there was another scene in the movie where right after Casey Becker in the beginning is killed, they are sitting on the fountain and they're kind of discussing it, and Sydney says, how could you possibly gut a person? And Stu explains how to do it, and Billy tells him, Billy's like, shut up. So that's clearly another nod to it that I didn't realize until I was watching it the second time. I didn't.
But it's a really crappy motive, so I put it all the way at 6. But Billy's, it makes sense, but
Billy's,
also,
it makes sense, but definitely.
But why would you go on a whole killing rampage just over that? Get over yourself. Next up is Nancy, Loomis, and Mickey. Just Mickey.
Yes. So for the intelligence list, I would say her intelligence, she's pretty smart. Like, she's not in the movie a ton. So you don't really suspect her until the end when she holds the gun to Gail's head at the end.
Honestly, Nancy, I would never guess. But honestly, there were a lot of suspects introduced, and then it was just like, oh, it's Nancy. It wasn't really a build-up. It was just kind of there.
Yeah, there are so many moments in all of these movies, which I'm going to say later, but there are so many moments in all these movies where it's just so many new characters are introduced that you narrow it down to at least like 3 of them, just because they're so obvious.
I would rank execution from Nancy at a 3.
Yeah, I'd say 3 or 4 maybe.
And Mickey, he's just Mickey. He doesn't matter. Like,
yeah, he doesn't really do anything.
Yeah,
like he
just kind of sits there.
Yeah, he definitely is basically a filler killer, sort of, for that. So, and for that, I'm gonna give him like a 3.
I give him a 5.
Oh, right, I forgot that 6 was the worst. I'm giving him a 5.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we're going to talk about Scream 3, which had the only killer that was singular in all the movies themselves, Roman Bridger. What do you think about him?
Honestly, he's really strong for being the only killer, and I have to give him that, but other than that, I don't see him as any significant killer against the others.
Yeah, and the whole plot line of him being Sydney's brother just has a lot of plot holes in it. It doesn't really make as much sense as I think the director wanted it to make.
Yeah.
Also, right, like you said, we do have to give him props for being the only killer by himself. Kirby even mentions that in the second movie when she's going through all the past killers. She says props to Roman Bridger for doing it on his own.
Yeah.
And his motive was, well, since he was being Sydney's brother and he was like left out basically of the family, I guess it was a motive, but it still had a ton of plot holes in it. What do you think?
It was really unnecessary, and honestly, they could have done better. Like, a random man on the street would have been a better motive than this, but
exactly.
No. Okay, so I rate that a 6. It was really bad.
So do I. And now, a word from our sponsor, Taste of Italy. Thank you for sponsoring us.
Best pizza in town.
Now, thank you for the sponsor, and now, today we're going to talk about the 4th movie. That was weird. Anyway, let's go back to the 4th movie, which the killers were Jill and Charlie Walker. Jill Roberts and Charlie Walker. What do you think of Jill?
Jill did it merely for fame, and honestly, she was suspicious, but also very smart and when she was followed around, it was like...
Yes, this might be a bit biased, but I really don't like the actress. I feel like she did an awful job as the killer, and she didn't really portray it well. Charlie probably did a better job than her, and he was god-awful. So Charlie, based off of motive, endurance, intelligence, I would probably give him like a 4.
4.
What do you think about Jill? Jill is like a 5.
Honestly, I give her a 3.
I do give her credit for being able to, because in every single movie they die where they're revealed. Like, the killer takes off their mask, whatever, and then they die in that spot. She actually made it to the hospital, and then Sydney killed her in the hospital. So I give her props for making it that far.
Yeah.
But she's definitely not the best killer out of all of them. I give her a 5. Now is film 5, Scream 5, which has brand new cast, all new Sydney, with Amber and Richie Kirsch as the killers. Amber and Richie are honestly basically the new versions of Billy and Stu, Richie being Billy and Amber being Stu. What do you think of this?
Honestly, I loved Scream 5. The cast was amazing. The acting was also so much better, but that's also because of the generation.
Mm.
But Amber, honestly, is really good. I would have not expected it from her. She had this protection over
Tara. She
Tara.
had a lot of protection over Tara. She just kind of was kind of this sister figure to her, sort of making sure she was always okay. She was at the hospital, so convincing. But even Dewey says when he's listing all the horror movie rules, he says never trust the significant other, and you could see kind of the color drain from Richie's face.
Yeah.
You could see him
also,
be like, oh crap.
When I saw Richie begin to gain an obsession with Scream and watching the movie after everything happened,
or the stab
I thought it was
yeah.
really crazy. So I kind of had a suspicion over him the whole time. So for motive, I don't even know. He was just
all together, I'm giving him a 2.
Okay, yeah, I give him a 3.
Both of them a 2. Now we're going to move on to the most recent installment in the Scream series, Scream 6, which had not 1, 2, 3, but 4 killers in total: Jason Carvey, Detective Bailey, Quinn Bailey, and Ethan Landry. I think out of all of these, who do you think was your favorite from the 6th movie out of all of the killers?
Honestly, as much as I love Ethan, Quinn died. How did she come back to life? That was crazy.
Yeah.
I did not suspect her at all. I think she was the least obvious, so that was crazy to see her.
It was actually fun. I suspected Quinn right after she actually died. And it was because nobody, usually when the person dies, there's a close-up of their body or, their death exactly. She just got thrown out of the room. Nobody, checked to make sure she was alive. Ghostface was running, so they all had to just run.
Yeah.
The whole twist of them being Richie's family was honestly the best part of the whole thing. Because, in my opinion, them being Richie's family, it was a bit of a stretch. They really are just milking this series for all it's worth. But I think, based off of all of them together, I'd give them a 5. They were all really, really good. 2. They were all really, really good.
And I would give them a 2 as well. All in all, I would say that my favorite killers are the killers from Scream 5, and Scream 1 is a classic, so of course I have to favorite.
I would agree with that. I would say that Scream 5 killers and Scream 1 have the best killers. And make sure that you type your favorite horror movie and your favorite Scream movie in the comments. Also, if you want to add your favorite Scream killer, we'll be sure to see it. So, thank you for watching, and have a good day.